Hi there, I am Tracy Otsuka, for those who don't know me, and I run a little self-development company called Coretography that teaches you how to make decisions and figure out your whole life's purpose starting in one afternoon. So Coretography is not coaching, therapy, or counseling. It's an analytical 6-step system where we teach you how to coach yourself. Here at Coretography, we believe that you are the only expert on you. So over this week, what I'm doing is I'm giving you the 6-step Coretography system, one step at a time. And so we've gone through step 1 already, which is to get crystal clear on your values. They are the foundation of every decision you're going to make. They are exactly who you are. Step 2, we talked about what your superpowers are and that they are basically your talents that you've built skills around. And then once we figure out our superpowers, we talked about how to figure out what our passions are. And what you want to do is you want to choose the passion that best aligns with your superpowers. So today we're going to talk about what is your purpose. How are you going to step into your purpose? And as you noticed, I didn't say, how are you going to find your purpose? Because I believe, and the Coretography system teaches, that your purpose is already inside you. So you're not finding anything, you're stepping into it. And without fail, what we've noticed is when our students finally connect to their purpose, they are able to see a path when they look behind them that was there all along. So from the time they were children. So what is the purpose formula? And I know everybody makes such a big deal about purpose. What is my purpose? What if I choose your purpose and I think it's my purpose? And we just make such a big deal out of it that, I don't know, it just terrifies us, right? So a lot of us just say, you know what, I'm not even going to go there. It's too big of a deal. And I'm here to tell you that purpose is not that big of a deal. It's actually quite easy when you have the formula. So what is the purpose formula? So in step 2, we looked at what the sweet spot was, where your values, superpowers, and passions intersect. So that sweet spot is whatever you should be doing, what you should be spending your energy and your time on. And so what you're going to do with that sweet spot, once you figure that out, where your superpowers and your passions intersect, you're just going to attach a side of service. It's that simple. So what's a side of service? The side of service is asking the question, who can I help by doing what I love? Who can I help by doing what I've always felt called to do? Or what can you do that helps someone else that is consistent with your values, your superpowers, and your passions? Now, the best purposes are those purposes that give meaning to your past. Why? Because you're helping someone using your gifts not to have to go through what you went through. And it makes it, all not for naught. You kind of get away from that victim mindset. Why did this have to happen to me? How did it happen? How did it happen to me? Why me? If you choose a purpose that gives meaning to your past, then there was a reason that particular bad thing that happened to you happened, because now you're the teacher, you're the expert, you have the confidence, and you're not just spending your life saying, why did this happen to me? You're using it for good, whether, what happened to you involved domestic violence or a bad childhood or a learning disability, ADHD, a business failure, addiction, it does not matter. So for me, my purpose is to show people who they are and inspire them to be it. And through Coretography, I created a system first for myself and then for others that gave meaning to my past. All these decades that I spent in career counseling, that I was reading books, that I took personality tests, I even went to a coach, all of that where I just couldn't connect the dots and I couldn't figure out how all this information was relevant to me. It helped me to first build the system that I couldn't find for myself. And then I had this need to help others who had the same problems that I was having. And and, were struggling with the same things that I was struggling with. It gave meaning to my past. So passion, it makes you happy for a while. Purpose gives your life meaning. So I always kind of analogize happiness, passion with happiness, and purpose with joy. And we have so many examples of titans of industry who, they have all the money in the world. They have so much respect from all of their colleagues. I'm thinking of Bill Gates right now, who, headed up Microsoft. He had a great wife, he had great kids. There's really nothing more that man could want from what we could see from, the outside looking in. But what did Bill Gates do? He stepped down from Microsoft and he moved full-time into the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation. He needed a vehicle that, was philanthropic, where he could actually give back. Bill Gates needed meaning. So how else do you step into your purpose? How else do you discover it? Well, I always say that we're real analytical over here. We're not into the chakras, crystals, or woo. We leave that to those people who know what they're doing there. But I'm going to deviate from that just a little bit. And I think when I explain this to you, you'll understand why. So I want you to consider this. Everything we do is with the goal of feeling better. Everything we do is with this idea and this intent that we want to feel better. Everything. What we eat, what we study, who we befriend, who we date, who we marry, the house we buy, the cars we buy, shopping, everything. Whatever we do, we're trying to feel better. The problem is when we forget the feel part. We get so caught up in our head, in the facts and the figures and the statistics, and we start relying on all these supposed experts in our life instead of listening to ourselves. We stop paying attention to that most important compass, that rudder that we all have inside of ourselves, because we're trying to feel better, but we're forgetting to feel, right? And you can't know what actually makes you feel good by looking at what your parents, what your friends, or what society tells you is good, or what they tell you is worthy. So what's the secret to purpose? When you get close to purpose, you feel it in your body. It's that feeling where you know that you're in your zone of genius. You're doing exactly what you should be doing, and you're lit up, you're grateful, you're calm, all is right with the world in that moment. And you feel like, okay, this is exactly where I should be at this time. So how do you then have that take you to where your purpose actually lives? So the easiest way to do that is you go as far back in your childhood as you can, and you look for that first great feeling. So that feeling that I was talking about, that lit up feeling that it's from inside. At Coretography, we call that the better than a martini feeling, because our belief is that when we're laughing, when we're having fun, when it's light, we're closer to our purpose. And honestly, that was my big problem with self-development. I mean, everything was so dark and oppressive and serious, and there was no laughter and there was no humor. And I was like, you know what? That's not for me. And so that's kind of how Coretography came about. My whole idea is there's got to be a lighter, brighter, happier way to do this. And if it's fun, I'm going to do it, right? So you're going to go back and you're going to look for those better than a martini feelings in your child. And you're going to start back from as far back as you can remember. And once you've got one of those feelings, then you're going to go to the next one. And you're going to compile a list of every time in your life that you felt lit up. So for me, what I remember, or the way I remember these, and I have no memory, but I remember certain instances in my life. And it's almost like I was not even in my body. I was kind of up above looking in, and I could see myself but I wasn't there in my body. I know that sounds really woo, but that's how I remember it. There was something special about those particular moments. So, okay. So once you have the list, then what you're going to do is you're going to look for an overall pattern. Were you always in nature? Were you always with animals? Were you always with kids? Were you with your family all the time? Was your body always moving? Like every time you had those lit up feelings, those joyful, like this is where I need to be, was your body moving? For some people, a lot of dancers, that is part of what brings them that joy. Part of their purpose is, in being able to move their body. So once you do that, then this is going to help you hone in on what your purpose involves. So then what you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself, could my purpose live here? Now, this is a lot easier for those of us who have decades of experiences to look back on, right? If you're younger and you don't have a lot of experiences to scan, you're going to have to do it a different way. And sometimes my students, if they had really tough childhoods, it's really hard for them to go back. And so they really don't have any memories of when, of their childhood. So this will work for them as well. So you need to learn how to listen to your body now. And you're going to have to look for those better than a martini feelings, and you're going to have to learn how to identify them, because that's where your purpose is going to live. So generally, and I said this before, when you're happy, when you're laughing, when you're feeling good, you're much closer to your purpose. So when you feel like that, the prompt is to go do more of it, right? If it feels good, do more of it. If it doesn't feel good, move away from it. And you're going to keep going towards whatever it is that makes you feel better. And you need to understand that this is not a linear path. You're going to take 2 steps forward and you're going to say, oh my gosh, that feels good. Okay, so I'm going to go in that direction. I'm going to take 2 more steps forward. That feels even better. Okay, so there's something sort of interesting over there. I'm going to go take a few steps that way and check that out. So you take 2 steps forward there, or backwards or sideways, and you realize that, okay, that I don't need to go there. I never need to go there again. And you need to understand that it's not a mistake. Nothing is a mistake. Now you know, okay, I feel better when I go in that direction towards whatever that is, and I feel worse when I go in that direction. So I'm going to stop going in that direction. This is basically the Abraham Hicks, that you're always reaching for a better feeling, and that is ultimately what will bring you happiness. Ultimately, you're the expert on you. You have that built-in rudder in your body that tells you when you're going in the right direction. You need to pay attention to it. Only you know what will make you truly happy. And you know what? You can apply this little system to anything. So you're going out with friends and you come home and you're like, I do not feel good. That was not positive. That was not, empowering, encouraging. It just didn't make me happy. Stop going out with them. You're dating someone, you come home, it doesn't feel right. You wish you would have just stayed home. Stay home next time. Don't go. You're in a job that you hate. Your job does not have to be something you hate. And if it's hard to get up every morning and to get to that job, you can feel that in your body. It is not the right job for you. Okay, finally, I want to encourage you to think small when it comes to purpose, because I think that's part of the problem. We make purpose such a big, huge deal. But all you have to do is use your unique superpower and passion to make one little itty-bitty part of the world a brighter and better place. You don't need to save the world. We've got Mother Teresa and we've got Oprah. They've already got their jobs. You don't need that job. So in a nutshell, that's how you get to purpose. It's really not that hard, right? Your superpowers and your passions. You pick the passion that aligns with the superpower and you attach a side of service to it. Who am I going to serve? Who am I going to help? That's how you bring meaning into your life. Okay, so step 4, we're going to do that tomorrow. And that is all about the importance of being able to define what it is that you really want. Okay, so I have a link to my favorite blog post that I've written about purpose. I hope you'll take a look at it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.